Chapter 41 Heaven Level Trial. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The moment the stone door was pushed open, a voice came from all around. Google search reading. Congratulations, the Heaven Level Trial has begun. Now you have 100 breaths to familiarize yourself with the environment. Hearing this voice, Li Qingyun's body trembled. This, he almost thought it was the system talking. It should be the spirit of this cave. Get familiar with the environment quickly. Yang Hai Aoshua urged Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun quickly looked at the world behind the stone door. There was a white, square arena in the middle of his sight, but it was pitch black around the arena. Even though Li Qingyun had night vision, he couldn't see through the darkness. What's so familiar about this environment? Wait. There is no spiritual energy in this place, not even a little spiritual energy. This means that it is very difficult to consume spiritual energy. Is this the difficulty of the heaven level trial? It's time to get familiar with the environment. Now I'll introduce the rules of the trial. This trial is divided into 5 levels. You too must defeat the trial object that appears in each level. Note, in the past 10,000 years, the survival rate of this heaven level trial is less than 1 in 10,000. After completing the heaven level trial, you can get a reward and a token left by Marquis Liang. Start now. The first level, defeat the ghost cultivator with the strength of the early Jindan stage. The faint voice and murmur seemed to sound from endless years ago. The next moment, a supreme majesty suddenly appeared. This majesty brought with it the aura of supreme majesty and transcendent dignity, which made Li Qingyun want to worship. If it weren't for his strong willpower, he would have knelt down at this time. A bronze lamp with an ancient shape, seemed to have traveled through time and appeared on the arena. The filament of the bronze lamp trembled slowly, and a drop of black substance dripped. The lamp oil fell to the ground and turned into a blue-green ghost. Li Qingyun looked at the terrifying bronze lamp and took a deep breath. I knew it would never be that simple here. At the same time, Zhang Tianping and Lu Xian, led by the 6th elder, and the 3rd disciple entered the human level trial. The human level trial is to let them survive the attack of the mandrill until the end of the heaven level trial. The 5th elder led Luo Jingsheng and 3 other disciples to the earth level trial. The earth level trial is to let them survive the attack of the charm spirit and Shintubo until the end of the heaven level trial, but the difference is that they can give up the trial at any time, and according to their performance, they can get different levels of rewards, which is much easier than the 1/10 of the survival rate of Li Qingyun and the others. But the 5th elder was thinking at this time, could this place, which was once called Forbidden Land, really be easy? There are mandrills and spirits. These spirits and ghosts only existed in legends before. The ghost in the early stage of Jindan in the first level was killed by Yang Hai Aoshua in a few moves before Li Qingyun could observe this thing called ghost himself. The killed ghost turned into the drop of black substance again, the lamp oil emerged again, and another drop fell. The 2 drops combined and condensed into an ugly ghost again, but this ghost had 1 more horn on its head than the previous one. The 2nd level, kill the elite ghost with the cultivation of the middle stage of Jindan. Why are there all ghosts? Is this hell? Li Qingyun said. Ha! I didn't expect that you, a little kid, even know about hell. Interesting. The whisper of the spirit of the weapon sounded again. But at this time, Li Qingyun could no longer care about the spirit of the weapon, because the Jindan ghost had rushed over, and he hurried forward to meet the enemy. He had a bad feeling in his heart. The first level was the early stage of the golden core, and the 2nd level was the middle stage of the golden core. If he continued to calculate like this, would he encounter a ghost in the nascent soul stage in the 4th level? Although Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshua had killed nascent soul monsters with the help of the formation, they knew that without the formation, they would definitely die against the nascent soul, and they would not even have a chance to escape. The ghost screamed, and its disgusting blue body rushed over. A strange blue force suddenly emerged, which was extremely powerful. At this time, Li Qingyun accidentally failed to dodge and had to defend in a hurry. The blue ghost energy suddenly concentrated on Li Qingyun's arm. Li Qingyun was instantly knocked away, but the next moment, not injured. It doesn't hurt at all. What's going on? At this time, Yang Hai Aoshue was also hit once and fell to the ground. He was stunned and obviously found the same problem as Li Qingyun. The two looked at each other. Is this the hidden rule of the trial? Ouch! Li Qingyun screamed, rushed towards the ghost desperately, and attacked desperately. Since you won't get hurt when being attacked, why do you have to defend? In the void, the weapon spirit also looked at Li Qingyun, who was attacking desperately, in disbelief. Why didn't this kid get hurt? The weapon spirit was also surprised. It seems that not getting hurt is not the hidden rule that Li Qingyun thought. The weapon spirit thought, could it be that these two people are immortal bodies? No, how can there be two immortal bodies at the same time? That little girl is also an immortal body. It doesn't look like an immortal body. The immortal bodies are all the top geniuses in the world. Although the talents of these two kids in front of them are barely enough, and they have super quality Taoism, I don't know how far they are from the top geniuses in the world. But, how could it be? The weapon spirit looked serious, mobilized its strength, and detected the fluctuations on the two people. It turned out to be a hair. This hair blocked all the ghost energy. The spirit of the weapon began to doubt its life as a spirit of the weapon for hundreds of thousands of years, while the spirit of the weapon doubted itself. Li Qingyun fought harder and harder, and had already reached the 4th level, a royal ghost with the strength of the nascent soul stage. Because the spirit of the weapon wanted to concentrate on hunting the 5 elders and others, it no longer controlled Shintubo, and Shintubo was proud to regain his independent consciousness. He looked at the purple-red soul shadow of the spirit of the weapon, and immediately gritted his teeth, and listed this soul shadow as the second person he hated in the world. The first one was the righteous nascent soul cultivator, who was a beast in human clothing. He robbed all his belongings. Thinking of this, Shintubo followed the 5 elders and others, and ran away. We must not let this spirit of the weapon succeed. We must persist and get the trial reward. The money for me to leave Dihua Mansion depends on this trial. Half an hour has passed. The first stage of the Earth-level trial is completed. A low-grade ghost spirit pearl is obtained. What? The 5th elder and Shintubo exclaimed together. The ghost spirit pearl is the treasure that the great elder has been thinking about day and night. When paired with the 10,000 soul pill, the soul capture sect's great cause can be accomplished. Starting from the 2nd stage, the charm spirit strength will be increased from the middle stage of the golden core to the late stage of the golden core. It is required to survive for 1 hour. Give up. Shintubo and the 5th elder said in unison again. Although the few people still have more than half of their spiritual power, no one can be sure what means this late-stage charm spirit has, so it is better to be cautious. Shintubo looked at the 5th elder, and the 5th elder looked at Shintubo. They actually felt like they were soulmates. I didn't expect that he also has such an excellent quality of caution. I was really disrespectful before. The two looked at each other, and a sense of mutual appreciation arose spontaneously. They wished they could leave this place immediately, drink and talk happily, and talk about the meaning of being friends from afar. At this time, Luo Jingsheng stood behind the two men, looking helpless, thinking, what a pair of cowardly old bastards. The spirit of the weapon said again, the rewards will be distributed later. First watch the trial screen of the heavenly level trialists. A screen appeared out of thin air in front of him, with a handsome young man and a hot-dressed beauty with amazing curves. The clothes of both of them were a little damaged, but it was hard to hide their extraordinary temperament. Shintubo exclaimed, this man. The 5th elder obviously didn't recognize Li Qingyun either, and asked Shintubo, do you recognize him? Shintubo was about to tell about his tragic experience of being robbed of all his belongings by him, but thinking that he was about to leave Dihua Mansion, these embarrassing things were not suitable to stay here, so he didn't speak. A voice came from the screen, the 4th level. Defeat the royal ghost with the strength of the early nascent soul. The 5th elder took a breath of cold air. Where did this master come from? He has already reached the trial of the nascent soul stage. He is worthy of being a person who dares to challenge the Tianji trial. Shintubo thought, as expected, this is a Yuanying stage expert. Luo Jingsheng thought, this Li Qingyun actually dared to challenge the Yuanying stage trial. is he playing tricks again? Chapter 42, Inscription Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The three of them had evil intentions when they saw the picture, but the next moment, Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue in the picture rushed forward desperately, attacking the three-horned ghost. Google search reading. Boom! The next moment, the two people were thrown to the ground in embarrassment, beaten and chewed by dogs, but the two quickly got up and rushed forward desperately again, but not long after, he was slapped to the ground again. Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue kept knocking ghosts away, but they would attack again the moment they were knocked away. The two kept flying around on the white competition stage, and kept falling, like two balls. Calling back and forth, however, every attack could bring some substantial damage to the ghosts. Finally, after an unknown amount of time, Li Qingyun, Yang Hai Aoshue were also thrown down countless times. The three-horned nascent soul ghost also died, and before it died, it let out an unwilling and extremely angry roar. Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue looked at each other and laughed happily. Ha 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 ha. The originally terrifying trial became very interesting as the two of them flew around happily without any danger. Shentubo. Is this how Yuanying fights? Fifth Elder. These two geniuses have amazing defense capabilities. Luo Jingsheng. It was indeed cheating. The weapon spirit felt helpless for a while, thinking that if this situation continued, even if ghosts in the middle stage of nascent soul were sent out, they might still be tortured to death by them. It seems that we need to change the form, with. The fifth level is the inscription test. If you inscribe the ghost spirit bead in front of you, you can pass the test. 1 inscription can get 1 reward, 2 inscriptions can get 2 rewards, and 3 inscriptions can get 3 rewards. A dark red bead appeared in front of Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue. The aura of the bead was stable, and it contained a deep, ghostly aura. Li Qingyun has determined that the aura in this is ghost energy, which is the same as the ghost just now. In addition, the aura in the 10,000 soul pill that makes him sick and shakes his mind is also this kind of ghost energy. It's just that for some reason, the ghostly energy today didn't make him feel sick or affect his mind. Yang Hai Aoshue frowned and walked towards the ghost spirit bead and said, I have briefly learned the basic inscription technique, but I am not sure that I can successfully create a tattoo. The voice of the weapon spirit came again. You two have 2 opportunities. After the 2 opportunities, an inscription means success, and no inscription means failure. The punishment for failure is, everyone in this cave will accompany you. Die together. At the same time, both the 5th Elder who was undergoing the Earth-level trial and Elder Lu who was undergoing the Human-level trial heard this voice. The Heaven-level trial is in its final stage. If the tester fails, all the testers this time will be buried together in the Heaven-level trial. The 5th Elder and Shentubo wailed, and Luo Jingsheng also frowned deeply. They had only heard of inscriptions in legends. This was a secret technique that could only be mastered by Taoist-level sections. The 6th Elder, Zhang Tianpeng and Lu Xian also raised their hearts at this time and looked at the scene in front of them attentively. In the void, the weapon spirit smiled proudly and thought to himself, these 2 little babies, don't think that they can easily pass the heaven-level trial of this cave with magic weapons on their bodies. It's not that easy, Yang Hai Aoshue looked at the ghost spirit bead with all his attention, and his slender fingers quickly formed mysterious lines in the air. These lines were called snares by the inscription master. After the snares were condensed, they were engraved on the fortress by the inscription master. If lines are left on the inscribed object, the inscription is successful. The net was quickly formed by Yang Hai Aoshue. It seemed that Yang Hai Aoshue had a good foundation in the past. The 5th Elder and others looked at Yang Hai Aoshue drawing mysterious patterns. Obviously he had learned them before, and instantly felt hopeful. They looked at Yang Hai Aoshue's movements without uttering a word. Go! Yang Hai Aoshue shouted softly, and she waved the net towards the ghost spirit bead. Countless lines were hit on the ghost spirit bead, and quickly gathered into a bright-looking line, trying to be engraved on the ghost spirit bead. But after a while, the light dissipated, and the lines obviously lacked strength and disappeared. Yang Hai Aoshue sighed, failed. All the fifth elders suddenly lost their breath and almost fell to the ground. Is it going to fail? This cave weapon spirit is so vicious, he will definitely do what he says, and he will definitely kill them when the time comes. Looking at this young woman, although she knows some inscription techniques, she is obviously not yet started. The success rate is extremely low. The next time the inscription technique will fail, there is no doubt that it will fail. Yang Haiaoxue took a deep breath, adjusted his breath, and seemed ready to come again. Li Qingyun patted Yang Haiaoxue on the shoulder and said, "I'll give it a try." Yang Haiaoxue looked at Li Qingyun with doubts on his face. "Are you sure that this is a critical moment of life and death? Whether they can succeed or not determines whether two people can survive." Li Qingyun smiled, held Yang Haiaoxue's jade hand, and said softly, "Just trust me with your life." Yang Haiaoxue was stunned, her beautiful eyes staring blankly at Li Qingyun. Lu Xian, who was watching the scene, collapsed. She knew clearly in her heart that Li Qingyun was a loser a month ago. How could he now know the inscription technique, a secret that is not passed down in the Taoist tradition? He was simply kidding with everyone's lives. Others saw Li Qingyun take action. Those who didn't know Li Qingyun had hope in their hearts, while those who knew Li Qingyun were filled with despair. Mortals value the near and the far. The more familiar you are, the less you believe he can be powerful. The less you know him, the easier it is for you to feel that he is powerful. For example, Yang Haiaoxue, who is unfamiliar to everyone, will be considered powerful and likely to succeed. However, Li Qingyun, who is familiar to everyone, will never believe that he can succeed. Li Qingyun smiled, took the ghost spirit pearl, held it in his hand, and stood quietly on the ground. Unlike Yang Haiaoxue, Li Qingyun did not emit a single spiritual power fluctuation, and even his expression did not change. In the eyes of everyone, he seemed to be in a daze. Everyone looked at Li Qingyun holding the ghost spirit pearl in a daze, thinking, is this person stalling for time? The spirit of the weapon also looked at Li Qingyun in surprise. He clearly detected that there was no spiritual power fluctuation around Li Qingyun, which meant that this guy was just in a daze. Yang Haiaoxue sighed. Although she was very moved by what the man said, if Li Qingyun didn't know anything now, it shouldn't be considered an opportunity. Maybe she could try again. Suddenly, the light on the ghost spirit pearl shone brightly, rising from in front of Li Qingyun and suspended in the air. A white pattern appeared directly on the ghost spirit pearl. This. Shen Tubo and others looked at the picture in disbelief. Success. Someone jumped up and cheered, it succeeded so easily. Lu Xian looked at the picture in front of her in disbelief. For a while, she couldn't accept the fact that Li Qingyun succeeded, but Li Qingyun succeeded, so she could survive. For a while, her mood was very complicated. Benefactor. Benefactor. The sixth elder shouted, I, Lu Filian, must repay this man. Lu Xian looked at the sixth elder with a complicated expression. If you knew that this man was the leader of Qingshan Sect, I wonder what you would think. He's not finished yet. Zhang Tianping screamed and looked at the screen. In the screen, the light of the ghost spirit pearl in front of Li Qingyun did not go out, but became more vigorous. Could it be? Chapter 43, Beautiful Female Cultivator. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The light of the ghost orb surged again, rising to a higher level. Google search reading that a white pattern appeared on it again. Everyone took a deep breath. 2 inscription patterns. He's not finished yet. Yang Haiaoxue's eyes showed a strange look, and he looked at Li Qingyun, feeling Yang Haiaoxue's burning gaze. Li Qingyun grinned and thought, why are you looking at me like this? This is far from enough. Li Qingyun waved his hand, and 3 inscription patterns appeared on the ghost orb again in an instant. 5. Li Qingyun shouted into the void, can 6 inscription patterns give a 6-fold reward? The void was silent for a moment, and said, yes. Okay. Do it. Li Qingyun shouted. Energy gathered on the ghost orb again, and the light on the ghost orb turned from white to blue, and even emitted a humming sound that made Li Qingyun's back cold. What the hell is that? Control it, concentrate your mind and energy, don't panic. Yang Haiaoxue was shocked and reminded, Yang Haoshue didn't hear any sound, but she knew that when the inscription master inscribed to a certain extent, or when inscribed on a special object, he would hear or see a lot of strange things. In this case, the inscription master is even in danger of falling. However, when encountering this situation, the inscription masters are all like facing a great enemy and take it seriously, but Li Qingyun is shouting and screaming. Okay. Li Qingyun yelled again. Don't talk. It's very dangerous. Yang Haoshue said anxiously, how could this person not know the seriousness of the matter? Okay. Li Qingyun shouted again. Yang Haoshue was extremely anxious. If this continued, Li Qingyun would not only fail to condense the 6 inscriptions, but might even lose his life. She made up her mind and decided to try that method. She wanted to speak again, but at this time, she saw, the 6th inscription appeared on the ghost spirit bead, a green inscription. Ah! So scary. Li Qingyun escaped from the illusion, but he obviously couldn't come back from it in a short time. Yang Haoshue looked at Li Qingyun with a strange expression, not knowing whether it was because of the superpower of the 6 inscriptions or because of Li Qingyun's nonsense in the illusion. The 5th level, the inscription test, passed. The heaven-level trialists passed the trial, and now the trial rewards are issued, and the earth-level trialists and human-level trialists are transferred out of the cave. Great, Dutchan Tubo and others cheered. They watched Li Qingyun's trial here, and they had been on the line between life and death. Their minds were under great pressure. Now that they were released, they couldn't help but shout out excitedly. Li Qingyun looked curiously at the void in front of him. Since the trial was over, should this weapon spirit come out too? Ah! With an old sigh, an old man in a white robe and white beard appeared in front of Li Qingyun and the others. I didn't expect. After so many years, the heaven-level trial of this cave was actually passed by you 2 little kids with not so good aptitude. Forget it. Since passing is your chance, maybe that's how the heaven arranged it. Li Qingyun looked at the old man sighing there, and couldn't help but complain in his heart. This sect master is at least a super-grade Dao foundation, so it can't be said that the aptitude is not so good, right? Unexpectedly, the old man with the spirit of the weapon glanced at Li Qingyun and said, you 2 may have aptitude in this small place, but if compared with my master, Liang Ho, it's too far behind. You 2 have passed the heaven-level trial of this cave. According to reason, you can already become the registered disciples of Liang Ho. Wait. Yang Haoshue said. Oh. The spirit of the weapon was a little surprised. I won't be the registered disciple. Yang Haoshue said. His eyes were a little flustered when he said this, and he secretly glanced at Li Qingyun. The spirit of the weapon looked at Yang Haoshue deeply, and there seemed to be endless energy in his eyes. It turned out to be. The spirit of the weapon said halfway, but when he saw Yang Haoshue's eyes, he shut up tactfully. He turned his head and looked at Li Qingyun meaningfully, muttering, interesting, interesting. Li Qingyun thought that this spirit of the weapon was really lifelike, and his eyes were exactly the same as those of a person. The look he gave himself actually contained 3 emotions at the same time, feeling, admiration, and even, sympathy. This sect master passed a trial for you, why do you sympathize with him? The spirit of the weapon said, okay, let's get back to the point. Since she doesn't want to be this registered disciple. Wait, again. The spirit of the weapon looked at Li Qingyun. Could it be that this kid doesn't want to be either? This kid looks quite smart, he can't be so stupid, right? First tell me what this registered disciple is for, and I'll think about it. The spirit's face twitched. If the dignified Marquis of Liang were to receive a disciple, or even a boy, it would cause a sensation throughout the continent. I wonder how many big families would offer their legitimate sons. Who would dare to say anything? But these 2 kids who were lucky enough to barely pass the trial dared to put forward conditions. But he still reluctantly replied, the registered disciples can get all the rewards of this trial. Those who don't become disciples can't. In addition, the registered disciples don't have to bear any responsibilities. Do you understand? I see. Li Qingyun was overjoyed, then I do. He has no relationship with this Li Yongho now, but he is unwilling to promise to avenge him if he becomes his registered disciple. This cave is obviously made when he left his inheritance, so he is likely to die. The spirit of the weapon rolled his eyes at Li Qingyun and said, let's get back to the point. Finally, he was able to finish this sentence. Although your talents are good in this small place, they are a little bit lacking. When my master Li Yongho was your age, he had already reached the realm of heaven and man. The realm of heaven and man, Li Qingyun took a breath. This kind of talent. He had never thought of it before. Yang Haiaoxue on the side was also amazed, seeing the expressions of the two. The spirit nodded with satisfaction, stroked his beard with his hand, and said, do you know the gap? But don't be too shocked. Talent is only one aspect. On the other hand, blessing is also very important. For example, you have encountered the opportunity of this cave. The following is the reward for passing the heavenly level trial. The first reward is the ghost spirit bead. Just like the people who passed the human level trial and the heavenly level trial just now, the ghost spirit bead engraved by you will be given to you. The second reward is about the secrets of this area. Li Qingyun's eyes lit up. What a good thing. This nameless mountain reveals weirdness everywhere. He has no clue, but this Li Yongho must know much more than him. The third reward. The spirit hesitated and coughed awkwardly a few times. What? Ahem. The third reward, 300 beautiful maids who practice dual cultivation. Li Qingyun. But. Due to the damage to the cave, these maids have died, but the bodies are well preserved. If you like, you can take them away. Li Qingyun said hurriedly, no. This sect master does not have that kind of habit. Oh, then the fourth reward. Your cultivation is not enough, you can't get it. The next three will be kept in the token of Li Yongho. You can get it yourself when you are strong enough. Li Qingyun's face was full of black lines, and he complained crazily, so you only gave me one ghost spirit bead. The spirit of the weapon said awkwardly, those beautiful female cultivators' bodies. No. Don't mention it again. Ahem. Li Qingyun looked at Yang Haiaoxue who was standing with his arms folded and smiled awkwardly. Yang Haiaoxue looked like I think it's okay. He nodded to him seriously. Chapter 44, Forbidden Land Secrets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Qingyun held the white jade pendant handed over by Qi Ling in his hand, feeling deep resentment in his heart. The leader of the Xindao sect desperately entered the Wuming Mountain to intercept the Qingshan sect. Now I don't know if I can leave this ghost place and only give me this little thing. How could he be willing? At this time, he stared at the weapon spirit with his eyes wide open. Seeing Li Qingyun's expression, Qi Ling felt a little embarrassed. Ahem, this jade pendant is the best storage space. Li Qingyun still stared. The weapon spirit added, the jade pendant can activate a life-saving means, and it can summon Li Yongho who is a level higher than you to take action. Li Qingyun thought to himself, this thing is good, but the surface is still calm. Still staring at the weapon spirit, the weapon spirit was helpless and said, this. Oh, that's all, I have one. Make a deal. Li Qingyun suddenly beamed. A handle of what? Qi Ling has been following Li Yongho all year round. He has never seen such a poor and crazy person like Li Qingyun. At this time, his heart was shaking and he was speechless for a while. A sword used by the master during his golden elixir period. Li Qingyun was overjoyed, thank you very much. A flash of green light entered the jade pendant in Li Qingyun's hand. Li Qingyun said, should we talk about this Wuming Mountain? At this time, he was satisfied and changed the subject very quickly. This sword was definitely an extra profit. He had to change the subject quickly, otherwise what if the old man regretted it? Seeing Li Qingyun's face change so quickly, Qi Ling felt a little emotional in his heart. If the master had been as flexible as this young man, how could he have ended up like that? it's a pity that the master has had a smooth life and encountered too few setbacks. How can he be like the young man in front of him, who has endured all the hardships and knows how to adapt? Then let's talk about the secret of this mountain. You call this mountain the Nameless Mountain, but tens of thousands of years ago, the owner told me that this place was called, the Sea of Ghosts. Sea of Ghosts? Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue said in unison. Exactly. The weapon spirit said in a deep voice, a peerless strong man once died here, so his blood brought unknown danger to this place. This place was also overrun with ghosts, and was sealed by countless powerful people. It was finally peaceful, but in the end, it became a restricted area on this continent, and no great monk dared to enter this area. Those ghosts from the heaven-level trial are also left over from that time. And that charming spirit, the mandrill. You haven't seen their power today. In fact, they discovered you as soon as you entered the mountain and have been following you too. No wonder. Li Qingyun also wondered why he had a vague feeling that he was being followed when he was following the soul-calling sect members. My master insisted on passing through the restricted area after it was formed. Before leaving, he left a legacy on the entire continent. Your inheritance is one of them. I didn't expect that once he left, he would never come back. When Qi Ling said this, he couldn't hide the sadness in his heart, his emotions trembled, and the entire cave also started to tremble. My condolences, Li Qingyun patted Qi Ling's shoulder, but as soon as his hand was empty, he passed through Qi Ling. He was stunned. It turned out that the weapon spirit was just a spirit body. Thank you. The weapon spirit responded. About the forbidden area, this is all I know. I am just warning you that you must not go deep into the forbidden area until you are not strong enough. This is just the edge of the forbidden area. The cave can still protect you, but deep in the forbidden area. I have seen the beasts listed on the 100 most dangerous list there. And, it was chased by a terrifying shadow and fled. Fear surged in Li Qingyun's heart. The rhino-leopard beast was at the bottom of the list of the 1,000 evils. The rhino-leopard beast was still underage, but it was already so powerful. The 100 evils, this forbidden area is truly amazing. I am really unlucky, my sect is nestled in front of a forbidden area. The trial rewards have been given to you, you can leave. After the weapon spirit finished speaking, it disappeared into the void with a melancholy expression. As the weapon spirit left, a white light door appeared behind Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue, which was obviously the exit prepared for them. Thank you. Li Qingyun cupped his hands into the void and left the light gate with Yang Hai Aoshue. In the void, the weapon spirit looked at Li Qingyun who was leaving. This boy's qualifications are still lacking, but his character is good. I hope he can bring some changes. Host qualifications, cultivation value, 480, peak of foundation building, spiritual roots, 6 spiritual roots, foundation building, super grade Dao foundation, kung fu, Qingyun Ju Huang Jia low grade, secret method, blue stone, Desheng, eclipse wave, introduction, genius points, 800-inch. In order to inscribe the ghost spirit pearl, it took Li Qingyun 630 genius points. In addition, before entering the mountain, Li Qingyun spent another 70 points to inscribe several necessary elixirs, for a total of 700 genius points, so this was the reason why Li Qingyun felt extremely distressed and stared at the weapon spirit asking for something. It was such a waste to spend so many genius points on a useless ghost spirit bead. Thinking of this, Li Qingyun took out the sword that the weapon spirit gave him from the jade pendant. The sword is 3 feet and 3 inches long. It is exuding cold air. The sword body is green. There are no patterns on it, but there is a sense of nobility. When Yang Hai Aoshue saw it, he couldn't help but admired. What a handsome sword. Li Qingyun said proudly, a sword matches the young master. Beautiful. Yang Hai Aoshue spat, but before he finished speaking, Li Qingyun inserted a small light yellow flower on his head. Ha, a sword goes with a young man, and vanilla goes with a beauty. Li Qingyun said proudly. Yang Hai Aoshue's pretty face turned red again. She found that when she was with Li Qingyun, she was always teased by this man, which made her feel weird. She, who was usually cold-tempered, had become shy these days. This Li Qingyun is really, extremely annoying. Suddenly, Li Qingyun hugged Yang Haoxue from the waist and moved to one side. Yang Haoxue was even more embarrassed. Why is this person like this? Too suddenly. Why can't you take your time and do whatever you want? Let's just say no first. Stop talking, hide quickly, there is someone in front of you. Li Qingyun said in her ear. Yang Haoxue just woke up from a dream, used her secret method of concealment, and observed the traces of the people in front of her with Li Qingyun, but thinking about what I had just thought, I felt ashamed and angry, and at the same time I secretly made up my mind that next time Li Qingyun, a scoundrel, dares to mess around again, I will definitely give him a slap in the face to teach him a lesson. Li Qingyun whispered, they are people from the soul-capturing sect. They have received the rewards of the Earth-level trial and the human-level trial, and they haven't left yet. That the two looked at each other and slowly approached the people in front of them. At this time, several people from the Soul Capture sect were sitting under a few big trees discussing something. Lu Xian, are you sure that person is Li Qingyun, the leader of Qingshan Sect? Asked the fifth elder. I'm sure. Lu Xian said. You read that correctly. Luo Jingsheng said, Junior Sister Lu is right, that person is Li Qingyun. I have fought against him before and I will never forget him. Zhang Pingtian also agreed. The sixth elder said, now that it's confirmed, don't worry too much. I think he must have used some kind of opportunistic method to defeat the nascent soul monster. Otherwise, why would his fighting method be so weird? Lu Xian looked at the sixth elder and sneered in her heart. Just now in the cave, she said she wanted to repay others, but now she is thinking about killing people and seizing treasures. What a good elder who knows how to repay his kindness. Shen Tubo was a little doubtful about life, and he still couldn't believe it in his heart. He looked at Lu Xian and asked tentatively, is that person just a foundation-building monk? Lu Xian said, exactly. Elder Shentu, I have known him since he was a child, and I am sure that he is just a monk in the foundation-building stage, or a waste of low-level Dao foundation. Chapter 45, Scary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I agree with Lu Xian's idea. Kill this boy and grab the ghost spirit bead. Search on Google to read it, Shen Tubo said. At this time, extremely angry emotions appeared on his body, making his eyes red and his body was numb. Shaking all the time, a foundation builder actually played him around and robbed him of all his belongings, but he couldn't tell others about his frustration and resentment. Li Qingyun looked at this scene with a sneer. Logically speaking, he had saved these people once, but when he turned around, these people turned out to be malicious and wanted to conspire to kill him. This Lu Xian, I thought that although she was a bit stingy, after all, she had a friendship with her that they had grown up with, but I didn't expect that she would be so vicious. The whole plan to conspire with him, judging from the words of these people, was proposed by her, and the current situation was still led by her. Thinking about it this way, there should be a possibility that Lu Xian would interfere with Zhang Tianping at the restaurant that time and Luo Jingsheng who took action in the subsequent competition. What a great job, Lu Xian, during this trip to the Nameless Mountain, or the edge of the restricted area of the Sea of Ghosts. Li Qingyun saw phantoms, mandrills, these terrifying elves, and ghosts. He saw the hidden horrors, and he saw some of the weirdness in the restricted area. However, now he saw something even stranger than the restricted area, the human heart. Yang Haoxue felt Li Qingyun's emotions, pursed her lips, and boldly squeezed Li Qingyun's palm to express comfort. At this time, Lu Xian seemed to have forgotten that she had been severely humiliated by Shen Tubo. She chatted enthusiastically with Shen Tubo, introducing all the misdeeds of Li Qingyun in the past, and dispelling the remaining worries in Shen Tubo's heart. This group of people discussed for a while, and finally decided that Lu Xian would go ahead and trick Li Qingyun into trying to see if Li Qingyun had that kind of strength, just in case. After confirming that Li Qingyun indeed did not have the strength of nascent soul, everyone swarmed forward, killed Li Qingyun, and took away the treasures that Li Qingyun had taken in the heaven-level trial. Of course, the focus of the discussion was mostly around the topic of how to distribute Li Qingyun's treasures, which Li Qingyun, who was hiding nearby and heard, could not accept. At this time, Yang Haoxue whispered into Li Qingyun's ear. Li Qingyun touched his chin and raised a strange curve at the corner of his mouth. Okay, let's do it. That even though it was daytime, the entrance to the cave was still dark. Lu Xian stood at the entrance of the cave, the majestic wind gently brushing her clothes. She brushed her delicate hands and raised her hands to caress her scattered hair, revealing a beautiful face and a unique temperament. But in Li Qingyun's view, even if Lu Xian's appearance is not bad, there is still a big gap compared with Yang Haoxue and Yi Xiaoyu. Lu Xian and Yi Xiaoyu can only serve as foils together. He had already entered the cave before everyone else arrived, and he was already ready at the cave entrance. With a cough, Li Qingyun walked out of the cave. Qingyun, that when Lu Xian saw Li Qingyun walking out, she immediately came up to him and shouted with concern and affection. Are you okay? Are you injured? Lu Xian came close to Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun was a little surprised when he heard Lu Xian's sudden enthusiasm. I've seen your performance in the trial. It's so amazing. Lu Xian continued. Li Qingyun said, Senior Sister Lu, thank you very much. Qingyun is not used to being so close. Haha. Lu Xian said with a smile, look at what junior brother said. It's usually a joke to argue with junior brother, but in today's dangerous situation, senior sister, can senior sister not care about you? Li Qingyun thought to himself, yes, can you not care about the treasures on my body? Thank you for your concern, senior sister, but... Li Qingyun looked a little hesitant. Just what? Qingyun. Lu Xian's voice was a little anxious. The female Taoist friend in red who just entered with me, died. Li Qingyun was heartbroken. Ah. What's going on? Lu Xian was shocked. She had not forgotten that she was in Wuming Mountain, and any changes now might lead to crisis. She was eaten by the mandrill. Ah. Hasn't the mandrill gone back? How can he still attack? Li Qingyun's face suddenly turned pale, as if he had remembered something terrible. He stared with lifeless eyes and said in a strange tone, it didn't say anything, just suddenly. Ha 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 ha. Li Qingyun suddenly rolled his eyes and laughed weirdly. The scary laughter, which was added with mental power by Li Qingyun, made Lu Xian feel her scalp numb. Lu Xian swallowed, suppressed the fear in her heart, and asked with a trembling voice, Qingyun, are you okay? In the woods, the sun was dim, and unknown insects and beasts were chirping. Li Qingyun's hair was messy, and his body was shaking strangely while laughing. At this time, Lu Xian saw that the woman in red appeared behind Li Qingyun. The woman's hair was disheveled and she was staring at her with those eyeless eyes. And her expression was exactly the same as that of Li Qingyun, who was giving a perplexing expression at this moment. At this time, Li Qingyun actually had brains like tofu left on his head. Ah! Isn't she already dead? Lu Xian counted down with cold hair, screamed, turned around and ran away like a soulless person. At the same time, the members of the Soul Capture sect who were ambushing Lu Xian and were ready to take action at any time also followed Lu Xian and ran out. Their feelings were not as strong as Lu Xian's, but after being attacked by the spirit, Shen Tu Bo was controlled, and the baboon chased people several times. They were convinced that there was something strange here, and they didn't know when something ominous would happen. At this time, Li Qingyun and the woman in red were obviously infected with ominous things. In a group of people, once one person ran away, the others would generally follow. In this tense atmosphere, Lu Xian ran away, and they were like frightened birds, so they naturally followed. Infected by the atmosphere, everyone fled for their lives. Li Qingyun and Yang Haoxue chased them desperately, holding back their inner laughter while chasing. Senior Sister Lu, don't go, I feel so cold on my head, as if something is flowing down, can you help me take a look? Ah! Lu Xian's scream replied to him. Senior Sister Lu, is it true? Oh, why is it white tofu? Let me try it. Why is it not sweet? It smells a bit fishy. What's going on? Li Qingyun was very fast, chasing after Lu Xian, and said slowly. Ah! Ah! Lu Xian was so scared that she couldn't breathe. At this time, her breath was disordered and she fell weakly in the woods. "Oh, senior sister Lu, why did you fall? Let me help you up." Li Qingyun's face was blue at this time, and red blood was flowing down his eyes, but his expression tried to make a soft and weird smile. "You. Don't come over, woo. Lu Xian was weak all over and couldn't walk anymore. The fear had scared her courage and she actually cried at this time. Li Qingyun twisted his neck strangely a few times, and felt the breath of several people in front of him, and said, "You are really strange, how can you have the courage to kill people, but not the courage to face the dead?" "Li Qingyun, I will fight you." Someone in front finally turned around, shouted angrily, and rushed towards Li Qingyun. Chapter 46 Death of Luo Jingsheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The person who came was none other than Luo Jingsheng. Google search reading, Luo Jingsheng has been interested in Lu Xian for a long time. Although he is a person with low self-esteem, extremely sensitive, and even extremely morbid, he is absolutely devoted to Lu Xian, whom he likes. Lu Xian asked him to defeat Li Qingyun, so he tried hard to defeat Li Qingyun. Lu Xian asked him to bring her to Wuming Mountain, so he went to ask the fifth elder to bring Lu Xian to Wuming Mountain. Lu Xian said that she had long since stopped being a virgin. However, now he only loves Luo Jingsheng, so Luo Jingsheng never complains at all. Now someone wants to attack Lu Xian, even if he may be a nascent soul monk, even if he may be contaminated by a strange and unknown ghost, he will go to save her woman. Li Qingyun frowned and struck out with one move, wanting to stop Luo Jingsheng, but he didn't expect that Luo Jingsheng used all his strength to cultivate at this time, and even exploded his potential, and he couldn't stop him with one move. "Let her go!" Luo Jingsheng roared hysterically. As Luo Jingsheng used his strength again, Li Qingyun had no choice but to give up targeting Lu Xian and concentrate on facing Luo Jingsheng to avoid being really hurt by Luo Jingsheng, and the moment Li Qingyun gave up Lu Xian and turned to Luo Jingsheng, Lu Xian burst out with all her strength and ran towards the vast forest without looking back. "Xianer!" Luo Jingsheng felt Li Qingyun's unparalleled power, and felt Lu Xian's gradually walking away. A satisfied smile appeared on his face, and he actually gave up resistance. It would be better if he died like this, and he wouldn't have to endure the pain in this world anymore. I have lost my parents since I was a child, and my talents are not good. I am often laughed at by my highly talented friends from the same sect. I have worked dozens of times more than they did and cultivated myself in a torturous way. In the end, I can only maintain the same level of cultivation as them. Sensitive, low self-esteem, unhappy in life, finally met what he thought was his destiny, but met someone who was not kind. Lu Xian has been using him, why doesn't he know? But for more than 20 years, he has only seen that kind of sincere concern from Lu Xian. That kind of feeling can never be faked. He is willing to die for this precious concern, no matter whether he let the unknown Li Qingyun kill him. He had also felt the concern for him from Li Qingyun. Now, although I did not resist the fifth elder's plan to murder Li Qingyun because of my low words, I did not disobey the elders after all. I was an accomplice. I am sorry for Li Qingyun. This death should be considered as his atonement. Kill me, I'm going to die, I don't know what happens after death. Can I meet my parents whom I have never met? Luo Jingsheng lost all hope and faced death calmly, but at this time, the powerful spiritual power from Li Qingyun stopped. "Huh? Why don't you kill me? You don't have to die for such a woman." Li Qingyun's expression returned to calmness from the weird distortion, and said, "She doesn't deserve it." Luo Jingsheng looked at Li Qingyun in front of him, and suddenly felt that this man stood so tall and straight. At this time, Shen Tubo yelled, "He is still sane. The look just now was fake. This kid is playing tricks on us again." That with this loud shout, the fifth elder, Elder Lu, and the remaining 4 disciples emerged from their hiding places. Killing intent enveloped Li Qingyun in an instant. 3 golden elixirs, for foundation building, against Li Qingyun who is in the late stage of foundation building, and behind him Yang Haiaoshue is in the early stage of golden elixir. Shen Tubo's face was as dark as water and he said, "You tricked me again, you brat." Li Qingyun did not show any anger because his trick was exposed. He took out a handkerchief from behind and wiped the red blood on his face. While wiping his face with a handkerchief, he said vaguely, "I didn't expect that you discovered it first." Shen Tubo said, "Eat a pit and gain wisdom." Wiping off the dirt on his face, Li Qingyun showed a harmless face, grinned his white teeth, and said, "Not bad, I haven't looked at the storage bag you gave me last time, I guess it's not less good stuff." Seeing Li Qingyun's state of being in need of a beating, Shen Tubo went crazy, wailed, and rushed forward, as if he wanted to fight Li Qingyun desperately. The expression of the fifth elder on the side changed drastically. "Elder Shentu. Be careful." But before he finished speaking, Yang Hai Aoshua's red caltrip arrived. The 3-foot-long red caltrip used a trick that was difficult for the fifth elder to understand. With a power that was stronger than the peerless sword, he struck down Shen Tubo, who had just taken off, was shot down. With one move, Shen Tubo was seriously injured and fell to the ground. He actually fainted. As expected, Shen Tubo, an alchemist, had extremely poor combat effectiveness. Li Qingyun touched his nose and said, "I'm sorry, you golden elixirs are not worthy of my sect leader. You, the 4 foundation builders, come together." Seeing Li Qingyun's shameless and arrogant provocation, the 4 foundation building disciples couldn't stand it any longer. They looked at the fifth elder, and when they saw the fifth elder nodded in agreement, they all attacked Li Qingyun together. The fifth elder and the sixth elder joined forces to kill Yang Hai Aoshua. Luo Jingsheng stood on the ground and took a deep look at Li Qingyun, then turned around and walked deeper into the restricted area. The direction was exactly the direction Lu Xian escaped. The fifth elder usually keeps his secrets, but when he fights now, his fighting style is extremely fierce. He is on par with the sixth elder. Both brothers' fighting styles are extremely fierce, coupled with the fact that the brothers had similar minds. They now cooperated to deal with Yang Hai Aoshua. Yang Hai Aoshua was greatly surprised and found it difficult to resist for a while, but at the same time, the shock in their hearts was definitely no less than that of Yang Hai Aoshua. This woman only had the cultivation level of the early stage of Jindan, but not only had she seriously injured Shen Tubo with one move, but now she was under the training of the 2 brothers. It is really incredible that he can barely resist. With the cooperation of the 2 brothers, they can even compete with the peak Jindan. He couldn't take down this woman for a while, so he had to wait for the 4 disciples to deal with Li Qingyun before slowly consuming this woman. But at this time, the battle between Li Qingyun and the 4 foundation building disciples surprised him, because as soon as he sensed it, he found Li Qingyun had finished the battle. The 4 foundation building disciples were now knocked unconscious like Shen Tubo, lying neatly on the ground side by side with Shen Tubo. Li Qingyun crossed his arms and asked, "How is it? My great elder, do you need my help?" Wu Yang Hai, who was busy fighting, said fiercely, "Don't talk too much, watch carefully." Li Qingyun pouted, "This woman's face changes so quickly." "Well, I won't interfere and let them practice with you." The 5th elder and the 6th elder looked at each other, and anger rose in their hearts. Everyone would be angry. They came to kill people and buy goods with great aura, but they encountered many accidents, and now they were regarded as the target of alliance. With this thought in mind, I couldn't help but use a little more strength to defeat this woman, and then turn around to deal with the mean-mouthed Li Qingyun. But, suddenly, Blue Stone, a giant hand appeared from behind them and slapped them hard from an unguarded angle, causing the 2 of them to spurt out a large amount of blood due to the injury. The moment the 2 missed, Yang Hai Aoshua's attack followed closely, directly injuring the 2. "Li Qingyun, you are shameless. You actually made a sneak attack. That's so vicious. First use words to confuse them, making them really think that Li Qingyun will not take action, so they give up their defense against Li Qingyun, and then suddenly take action and succeed with one blow. Moreover, the attack of Li Qingyun, a foundation-building monk, was able to severely damage them. Li Qingyun sneered, 2 elders, in a life-and-death battle, either you die or I live. How can you talk about a sneak attack? Moreover, you 2 chose to initiate this battle of life and death. At such an old age, you still have to bear the consequences of your choice." When the 5th elder saw that the 2 of them had been completely defeated by Li Qingyun, his eyes were splitting with tears. "Li Qingyun, you have to think about it. This ghost spirit bead is a treasure that the elder has been planning for decades. You have to consider the consequences of robbing our soul-destroying sect. Li Qingyun sneered, am I going to return the ghost spirit pearl to you now, and then kneel down and beg you to let me go? You want to let me go, but I don't want to let you go yet, idiot. Chapter 47, Incarnation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After saying this, Li Qingyun stopped talking nonsense with them, he gently clenched his hands, and the green giant hand that appeared also followed his movements, grabbing the two elders and holding them down. Great Elder, save me! That the moment the giant hand clenched, the fifth elder in the giant hand exclaimed, then, with a bang, it seemed to crush something, accompanied by a crisp sound, a ball of black light surged from the giant hand, a force that was much stronger than the two elders surged out of the giant hand crazily, and even easily stretched the giant hand that was fully grasped from the inside out. The strength of this force made Li Qingyun feel irresistible. This is Yang Hai Aoshue exclaimed, outside body incarnation. What? Li Qingyun wanted to take Yang Hai Aoshue away with him, because according to the records in the classics, the ability of the outside body incarnation must be in the heavenly realm to be exerted. And the heavenly realm is a higher realm than the nascent soul realm, even though Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue had no problem fighting against an enemy that crossed one or two small realms, they were no match for the incarnation of the heavenly man realm, and they would surely die. Yang Hai Aoshue held Li Qingyun and said, this incarnation only has the strength of the early stage of the nascent soul. It seems that Situ Quan did not advance to the heavenly man realm, but used some method to condense an external incarnation in advance. Li Qingyun complained crazily, only the early stage of the nascent soul. You have already used talent for the nascent soul. I'm just building my foundation, brother. Yang Hai Aoshue said indifferently, do you think you can run away? The moment this incarnation appeared, the area within a radius of 50 miles had been sealed off by him. Now all we can do is try to exhaust the energy of this incarnation and kill him. Li Qingyun looked at the calm Yang Hai Aoshue. At this moment, her face was frighteningly calm. There was even a strange excitement in her eyes, and even the will to fight was burning in her body, this crazy woman. Li Qingyun didn't say much nonsense at this time. Since the situation was like this, there was no way to save strength to escape, so let's try to risk our lives. He took out 2 pills from the storage space, the 3rd-grade human-level jade blood pill, which forcibly raised 2 small realms and lasted for an hour. This was a pill that he had inscribed twice. The system's inscription can at most raise an artifact to the 6th-grade human level, but the cost of the 6th-grade human level is too high, so Li Qingyun chose the most cost-effective 3rd-grade human-level jade blood pill to inscribe. Although this jade blood pill can raise the realm, it also has a big problem. The realm cannot be raised beyond the nascent soul, and the maximum strength limit is the nascent soul, so this pill is a long-term reserve for low-level cultivators. The ones that are used for desperate use are extremely expensive. For example, Li Qingyun, who eats them every time he fights. There are not many people who eat them every time he fights. However, there are not many people who face life and death crises every time they fight like Li Qingyun. Yang Hai Aoshue smiled, stretched out his slender fingers, pinched a pill and put it into his mouth. Li Qingyun also took the green blood pill. The two who took the pill had their strength greatly improved. Li Qingyun reached the great perfection of the foundation building from the peak of the foundation building, and his aura was about to exceed the level of the golden elixir. Yang Hai Aoshue was promoted to the late stage of the golden elixir. At this time, both of them focused on the black shadow in front of them. The black shadow has turned into a human form. If you look closely, you can still vaguely see the appearance of the black shadow. It is a Taoist with a white face and no beard, who looks clean, handsome and even a little weird. Yang Hai Aoshue said, the incarnation is relatively blurry, and it is estimated to last for a quarter of an hour at most. Okay. Li Qingyun replied. He had also faced ghosts in the early stage of the nascent soul during the trial. Although he was in a mess at that time, he had experienced it once, so he had some confidence at this time. The incarnation roared, and the yuan qi of the surrounding heaven and earth actually stopped for a moment. With a long roar, the breath of the incarnation actually rose sharply. In a short period of time, it actually reached the peak level of the early stage of the nascent soul. It turned out that until now, the condensation of the incarnation was finally completed. Li Qingyun directly faced the nascent soul cultivator who was exerting his cultivation with all his strength for the first time, and his face was extremely solemn at this time. The sixth elder smiled proudly and said, "You two juniors, the great elder has come in person, and you are ready to die." The fifth elder seemed to be a little afraid of the incarnation, and hurriedly said to the incarnation, "Great elder, these two juniors got the ghost spirit beads with 6 inscriptions in the cave." After saying this, with the ghost spirit pearl with the 6 paths inscription, the two of them would be exempt from punishment. The eyes of Sidiquan's incarnation lit up, and his body trembled with excitement. He looked at Li Qingyun, and without saying a word, he went straight to Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun cursed, "Sidiquan, old thief, you didn't even say hello to this sect master, but you wanted to steal my treasure, you are going too far." He didn't know what the ghost spirit pearl was for, or it was just a waste to him. He didn't expect it to be so important to Sidiquan and his gang. Yang Hai Aoshua grabbed Li Qingyun's arm and retreated quickly. Before retreating, he used a powerful secret method with a roar, which slightly slowed down Sidiquan's speed, but Yang Hai Aoshua seemed to have discovered something. His face changed slightly, and he took Li Qingyun to escape in a circle. The secret method I just used, which consumed a lot of power, didn't consume much of his power. Li Qingyun also felt that the secret method Yang Hai Aoshua used just now was comparable to the grade of Li Qingyun's blue stone. It was used with the Jindan cultivation, and its power was much greater than Li Qingyun's, but it could not really consume Sidiquan's incarnation. It can be seen how long this incarnation will be difficult to deal with. We can only go back. Li Qingyun said. Yang Hai Aoshua understood what Li Qingyun meant, that is, to return to that cave. Because they tracked the 5 elders and others, they tracked them from the cave entrance for 20 miles, and now they must rush back from Sidiquan's hands. When they arrived at that cave, Sidiquan might be afraid to act rashly, but the incarnation sneered, suddenly disappeared from the original place, and appeared near Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshua. Teleport! Yang Hai Aoshua exclaimed and took Li Qingyun away again. She was very fast. It was obvious that this escape technique was also a secret technique of high grade, and it was one level higher than all the previous secret techniques. It seemed that Yang Hai Aoshua, like Li Qingyun, attached great importance to escape skills. Yang Hai Aoshua showed a happy expression. His incarnation can't catch up with me, so he can only rely on short-distance teleportation to chase me. We just need to avoid his sudden appearance. Also, I found that teleportation consumes a lot of his energy. I estimate that if he teleports a few more times, he will fall into the nascent soul stage. Teleportation is a magical ability unique to nascent soul cultivators. It can quickly shuttle through space over a short distance. The positioning may not be so accurate, but it is enough to chase people. Ah! Here it comes again. Li Qingyun instantly released a blue stone move, which blocked Sidiquan's incarnation for a moment. Yang Hai Aoshua took the opportunity to burst out again and opened up the distance. Li Qingyun asked, "Why doesn't he attack from a distance? If we keep chasing him like this, he will be exhausted to death sooner or later." As soon as he finished speaking, a strong spiritual power wave flew from behind and rushed straight towards Yang Hai Aoshua. Crow's Mouth. Chapter 48, Never Attack by Surprise. 3 updates suddenly appeared. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Hai Aoshua cried out, activated the secret technique again, and used the force to retreat again, and pulled away again, but she was also injured because she could not bear the huge force and spit out a mouthful of blood. Li Qingyun saw this and hurriedly picked up Yang Hai Aoshua, because she had to adjust her current state. Otherwise she would suffer serious sequelae if she continued to consume her cultivation to use the escape technique. Yang Hai Aoshua just said that he was a bad mouth. Not because Li Qingyun reminded Sidiquan to think of long-range attack, but because Sidiquan used the secret technique like just now, and if he carried out long-range attack, it would consume a lot of spiritual power. He did not want to consume spiritual power until the critical moment. After all, the power of this incarnation is limited. Sure enough, at this time, Siduquan's spiritual power fluctuations in the back had been reduced to the level of the general early stage of the nascent soul, no longer the peak of the early stage of the nascent soul like just now. Obviously, the several teleportations just now plus the long-range secret attack consumed too much of his spiritual power, and at this time there was a lot of loss. At this time, it was Li Qingyun's turn to run away. He hugged Yang Hai Aoshue's delicate body, and his speed was obviously much slower than before. Siduquan was overjoyed when he saw Li Qingyun's speed drop. This was a good opportunity. He attacked Li Qingyun again because his spiritual power was unstable after the intense consumption of a ninja teleport. Siduquan moved to a place less than 10 feet away from Li Qingyun, and used the secret method to attack Li Qingyun again. At such a short distance, Li Qingyun had no way to avoid it, and in such a short time, he had no time to react. The spiritual power turned into a bright red spear, with an extremely sharp breath, and rushed towards Li Qingyun's chest. Siduquan showed a cruel smile on his face. With this move, Li Qingyun would definitely die. But the next moment, something happened that stunned him. Li Qingyun turned his back to Siduquan's attack, protected Yang Hai Aoshue in his arms, and pieces of white flames appeared behind him. This is a protective secret method. Eclipse Wave. The flame blocked Siduquan's attack. Li Qingyun was hit and spit out a large mouthful of blood, but after a stumble, he turned around and attacked Siduquan. At this time, after repeated consumption, and after forcibly overloading to teleport and activate the secret method, Siduquan's cultivation level was already at the nascent soul stage at any time. He didn't expect that Li Qingyun actually had a protective secret method that could keep him alive under his attack. What he didn't expect was that Li Qingyun, a cultivator who was not even a golden elixir, was attacked by him. Even if he didn't attack with all his strength, even if he had a protective secret method, he would have been seriously injured at this time, but now he could actually turn around and fight back. Ah! Li Qingyun roared wildly. Even though he had taken the green blood pill at this time, he had already run out of energy. He endured the severe pain like tearing his body, squeezed out the last bit of his spiritual power, and released the natural secret method he had just learned. Eclipse Wave. A flame that slightly distorted the surrounding space shot straight at Siduquan. Now Siduquan was in the same situation as Li Qingyun just now, and there was no way to avoid it. But he had no secret method of protection. Siduquan also fought with real anger. From the beginning of the battle to now, he was restricted by the conditions of the Incarnation and had been targeted by these two juniors. Now he was forced to fall into the nascent soul realm. He gritted his teeth and chose not to dodge Li Qingyun's attack, but to resist it. Li Qingyun's attack, white flames hit Siduquan. Siduquan let out a cry of pain, and at the moment the attack came, he did not retreat but advanced, and narrowed the distance with Li Qingyun. He was actually willing to fight to be seriously injured, and to solve Li Qingyun before his realm fell. Decisive enough. Li Qingyun felt Siduquan's actions and understood Siduquan's intentions. Siduquan paid such a price, which made him feel the cruelty of the battle of life and death. With red eyes, he took out a porcelain bottle and poured all the pills in the bottle into his mouth. These pills were all Li Qingyun's stock, pills to restore spiritual power, pills to restore blood and heal injuries, and 3 green blood pills. Yang Hai Aoshue, who was lying in Li Qingyun's arms, saw Li Qingyun doing this and exclaimed, "You want to die? 3 green blood pills." I don't know how much of Li Qingyun's vitality will be overdrawn. After taking a bottle of pills, Li Qingyun's body was hit by all kinds of breaths. He spit out a large mouthful of blood. At the same time, his body was bleeding uncontrollably. He was covered in blood and looked even more hideous than when he was playing a ghost just now. However, his strength was greatly enhanced in a short period of time. Li Qingyun endured the huge pain in his body, roared, and his speed instantly climbed to an incredible level. He dodged Siduquan's last powerful attack that overdrew everything. And he directly opened up a considerable distance from Siduquan. At this time, Siduquan's incarnation finally couldn't hold on. the light dimmed half, and the aura fell directly to the late stage of Jindan, but Sidiquan did not give up, but gathered his spiritual power again and chased after Li Qingyun. Yang Hai Aoshue had recovered some of his spiritual power at this time, and used the secret method to lead Li Qingyun to escape. Li Qingyun was held in Yang Hai Aoshue's arms, feeling the warmth and softness, and said, "I told you, rest assured to leave your life to this sect master. This sect master will never let the sect elder die before this sect master." "Shut up, that the cave has arrived." As soon as he fell, Yang Hai Aoshue put Li Qingyun on the ground, took off the jade hairpin from his head, broke it open with force, took out a pink pill from it and stuffed it into Li Qingyun's mouth. Li Qingyun stared at Yang Hai Aoshue with wide eyes. Yang Hai Aoshue stared at Li Qingyun desperately and ordered, "Swallow it." After the pill entered his throat, Li Qingyun's originally exaggerated injuries stopped deteriorating in an instant and began to recover slowly. Sure enough, the pill hidden in the jade hairpin by Yang Hai Aoshue was absolutely precious. Thinking of this, Li Qingyun looked at Yang Hai Aoshue with a little more gratitude. "What? Don't think too much, I'll give you the Bishue pill." Yang Hai Aoshue looked at Li Qingyun's weird eyes, her face flushed, and she stomped her feet. "Oh." Li Qingyun responded, without commenting. At this time, Sidiquan also caught up. "You're actually thinking of flirting here? You're not going to run away?" Li Qingyun looked strange. It turned out that Sidiquan didn't know this place. Yes, he had never been here before, but he only had some fragmentary information about it. Sidiquan looked suspiciously at the dark cave. What breath was there? At this moment, Li Qingyun stood up with the help of a stone and took out the ghost spirit pearl from the storage jade pendant. With a click, the ghost spirit pearl was gently thrown into the cave by him. "If you want the ghost spirit pearl, go in and get it yourself." Li Qingyun covered his chest and said weakly. "We too will never attack by surprise." The puzzled look on Sidiquan's face deepened, and he looked at Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue carefully again. Yang Hai Aoshue also said, "I will never attack you by surprise." Sidiquan knew very well at this time that Li Qingyun looked very weak, but there was a strong breath in his body, and he definitely had the strength to fight. With his current late Jindan cultivation and the state of spiritual power, he could not guarantee victory against these two juniors with endless tricks. Moreover, even if he defeated the two, he would definitely not be able to catch up with them if they used the secret level escape technique. This cave looked quite ordinary. Even if there was something they were quite afraid of, he should be able to escape with his own individual cultivation. Besides, these two juniors have promised not to attack by surprise. Why don't you try it yourself? Thinking of this, Sidiquan snorted coldly, "You are sensible, I will let you go today." He walked towards the cave. Many years later, when Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue met again, they would often mention this scene. In the deep ghost sea forest, there was a dark cave. In front of the cave, a man and a woman stood weakly. A white-faced Taoist like a black shadow walked towards the cave majestically with a square step, but the moment the Taoist entered the cave, the man and woman suddenly jumped up. Eclipse wave. Red moon. They used two secret techniques. The dignified Taoist in the cave turned pale and turned around to yell without grace before dying, "Shameless ah!" Then he disappeared in the cave. The man and woman outside the cave were exhausted, but they laughed while holding their stomachs. Chapter 49. Women are really troublesome. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soul-capturing sect. Within Sidiquan's residence, Sidiquan, who was sitting cross-legged and meditating, suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes narrowed slightly, and his face turned livid. This meant that he was extremely angry. His voice was hoarse. "Li Qingyun, how dared to spoil my good deeds, and even killed me. An incarnation." The boy on the side saw the elder vomiting blood, and his originally calm face turned as pale as paper, as if he had seen something extremely terrifying. "How many years have passed, but the great elder was actually injured," Sidiquan said. "Go and ask the second elder and the seventh elder to come over. By the way, send a message to the third elder and the fourth elder, asking them to keep an eye on the Xiaoyao sect in Nanfu to prevent any mishaps." "Yes." The boy replied respectfully, turned around and went out, thinking to himself, is the Great Elder finally going to take action against the Qingshan Sect? Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue walked into the cave and found that after the death of Xuanhuan's incarnation, it turned into a white crystal stone. The reflected light was colorful, and it was very dazzling even in the dark cave. "What is this?" Li Qingyun asked Yang Hai Aoshue. "Soul-nurturing stone." Yang Hai Aoshue took a look and said, "Yes, it is the soul-nurturing stone. Xuanhuan should have used the soul-nurturing stone to foster the divided souls, and he separated the gods in the nascent soul stage. Come out. Collect the soul-raising stones and ghost spirit beads on the ground." Li Qingyun pulled Yang Hai Aoshue out of the cave again. Looking at the deep and silent forest outside the cave, Li Qingyun took a deep breath and said, "There should be no other dangers this time." Yang Hai Aoshue stood beside him and said, "If it happens again, the two of us will definitely die." She said, "When the time comes, someone won't be able to talk nonsense about entrusting his life to him." Li Qingyun laughed, but after laughing, he looked at Yang Hai Aoshue seriously and said softly, "I'm serious." A handsome and cheerful face, with a serious but slightly evil and narrow smile, fell into the eyes of Yang Hai Aoshue. Yang Hai Aoshue blushed again, spat, turned around and said, "Li Qingyun." "Li Qingyun, huh? You're such a bastard." Li Qingyun. "Oh. These people dare to come and rob our sect master and steal our sect's treasures. They deserve this end." Yang Hai Aoshue teased, "Sect masterly, if you think carefully, we were the ones who followed these two soul-catching elders all the way and robbed them of the treasure they had been planning for many years, right?" Li Qingyun's eyes widened. This sect leader considers the development of the sect. Can the affairs of the sect master's family be called robbery? Yang Hai Aoshue. Li Qingyun used the storage jade pendant given to him by the cave weapon spirit to collect all the storage bags belonging to the fifth elder, Elder Lu, and several foundation building disciples. What Li Qingyun didn't expect was that Shentubo woke up at some point and had disappeared. "You actually let him run away?" Li Qingyun shook his head, but he didn't care too much. Although Shentubo was good in strength, with the speed of his progress, he wouldn't care about Shentubo for a long time, so he didn't feel it was a pity to run away. He was now looking straight at the two unconscious Jindan elders of the Soul Capture Sect and the 4 Foundation Establishment disciples in Zhongshan, wondering what was going on in his mind. As soon as Yang Hai Aoshue saw Li Qingyun's expression, he knew that Li Qingyun was secretly planning something wrong. He then said, "If you tie these 2 elders up and write a letter to the Soul Captor Sect asking for ransom, it is estimated that what will come is not the ransom, but the other 5 supreme elders of the Soul Capture Sect." Li Qingyun smiled bitterly. "Do you think they won't deal with me if I don't ask for ransom from them?" That he stood up and stared at Yang Hai Aoshue. "I think Xuanhuan already knows all about my actions in the past month. He will never let me continue to grow. The next step is probably to use thunderous means to deal with our Qingshan Sect." Yang Hai Aoshue said, "What about you? What are you going to do?" Li Qingyun chuckled. "It has never been my habit to be beaten passively, but taking the initiative to attack seems too aggressive. So, I choose, to take the initiative to be beaten." Yang Hai Aoshue. Then you are really awesome." Although the two of them were having fun verbally, they both knew in their hearts that the Soul Captors Sect had been planning this ghost spirit bead for an unknown amount of time, but now it was taken away by Li Qingyun. Xuanhuan didn't know how angry he would be. When the time comes, the Soul Captors Sect will take revenge. It will never be that simple. After packing up the loot, he left Wuming Mountain, or left the Ghost Sea Forest as he spoke. When they walked out of the Ghost Sea Forest, Li Qingyun and Yang Hai Aoshue turned around and looked back at the dark forest. In a short period of time, he experienced many changes: cave mansion, weapon spirit, Lai Yangho. Is it really that simple to pass this heaven-level trial and obtain the status of a registered disciple? Did the Soul Captor Sect come here just for the Ghost Spirit Pearl? What is the use of Ghost Spirit Beads? Let the Soul Capture Sect risk their lives to search for it in such a big way. What plan is the Soul Captor Sect planning? Who would have thought that this seemingly ordinary forest of monsters would hide so many weird and dangerous secrets? Where does the depths of the Ghost Sea lead to? and what is hidden? Li Qingyun turned around and sighed helplessly. It was a blessing or a curse for such a terrifying place to be called a forbidden place in the backyard of his sect. Ding, the mission of the Lost Cave, 1, is completed. Mission reward, 1000 genius points. 2. Transform the sect prison. Li Qingyun smiled, the feeling of completing the task is great, 1000 genius points, but before Li Qingyun could continue thinking, the system sent another message. Hidden task, the secret of the 10,000 soul pill, there is new progress, task requirements, find out the secret of the 10,000 soul pill. And attack the soul-snatching sect at the end of the task. Task rewards, 1, 200, 3000 genius points. 2, 5000 hidden attributes, and completely open the hidden attributes. 3. Renovate a building. Note, this task is a long-term task and can be listed with other tasks. It is recommended that the host accumulate strength then attack the soul-catching sect. Progress. Discovered that the Ghost Spirit Pearl and the 10,000 Soul Pill actually have a special relationship. Li Qingyun thought to himself, Doesn't this sect master know the relationship between the Ghost Spirit Pearl and the 10,000 Soul Pill? Do you need to remind this sect master? Yang Haiaoxue, who was standing by, saw Li Qingyun smile with his mouth raised for a while, and then raised his head proudly with a very rich expression, and asked with concern, Li Qingyun, are you okay? Is everything okay? Li Qingyun's face twitched, and he felt that the expression on his face was seen by Yang Haiaoxue, and he was very embarrassed, so he had to pretend not to hear and did not answer. Yang Haiaoxue didn't give up, so he chased after him and asked loudly again, are you okay? Li Qingyun. Li Qingyun turned around and smiled, thank you for your concern, Great Elder. Qingyun has received medicine from the Great Elder and is now fine. Oh. I saw you. I thought Situ Quan had damaged your brain. Yang Haiaoxue said weakly, and his feet softened and he almost fell down. Li Qingyun quickly helped Yang Haiaoxue up, the side effects of the blood pill have appeared, be careful. Li Qingyun took the special pill given to him by Yang Haiaoxue, not only did his spiritual power recover, his body was fine, and even the side effects of the blood pill disappeared. However, Yang Haiaoxue had taken the blood pill for an hour, and the effect of the medicine had passed, and the side effects came. At this time, Li Qingyun supported the weak Yang Haiaoxue, and suddenly remembered Yang Haiaoxue's strange reaction when they first entered the cave. He looked at Yang Haiaoxue's soft waist, and a thought came to his mind. Can I try again? Really? He swallowed his saliva, looked at the weak Yang Haiaoxue, and decided not to take advantage of the situation, but to ask directly. That. Great Elder, I want to ask you something. Yang Haiaoxue asked. What? Li Qingyun said, when you first entered the cave, why did you react so strangely when I touched your waist? Scared. Why are you staring at me? And so fierce. Yang Haiaoxue looked at Li Qingyun's expression, which was not lecherous, but serious and cautious. He thought to himself, does this man really know nothing? He couldn't help but feel a nameless fire in his heart, and said to Li Qingyun in a deep voice, Li Qingyun, are you really a fool? Li Qingyun heard Yang Haiaoxue's voice, shrank his neck in fear, and said, if you don't want to say it, forget it, I won't ask. He muttered in his heart, women are really troublesome, they can't even answer questions properly, hey, it's so hard to be a man. Chapter 50, Prison Interrogation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At night, the sky was clear and bright, and the Milky Way and the stars twinkled over the Daqing Mountain and Wuming Mountain. Google search reading. Let's get started and build the sect prison. Li Qingyun stood in an open space on the back of the sect's mountain. This place is the most remote, darkest, and least exposed to sunlight in the Qingshan Sect. He thinks it is most suitable to build a prison. The prison is being built. As the system progressed, Li Qingyun saw a low, wide house slowly appearing in the place he chose. Li Qingyun was a little confused, why other buildings built before were so majestic and handsome, but this prison was so shabby. The prison is built, and the name of the prison is, the 18th Underground Prison. Point 18 Underground floors. Are there 18 floors underground? Yes, there are 18 floors in the prison, and the degree of horror of the punishment increases layer by layer. The first floor is just the confinement punishment for ordinary disciples. The second floor and below are used to deal with prisoners, and it takes genius points to complete the punishment and torture. Li Qingyun said, "Understood." After saying this, he released 6 people from the storage bag. They were the 5 elders of the soul-snatching sect who were captured in the Ghost Sea Forest. Which floor should these 2 golden cores be placed on? System. The second floor costs 10 genius points per hour, and the third floor costs 30 genius points per hour, Li Qingyun said, then put these 2 golden cores on the third floor, and the 4 foundation building ones on the second floor. As soon as the voice fell, the building above the 18th floor of the underground prison flashed with light and absorbed the 6 people on the ground. Open for 1 hour, this time it costs a total of 100 genius points. Li Qingyun's face twitched. He had just spent 100 points. He quickly checked his panel. Host qualifications, cultivation value, 480, foundation peak, spiritual roots, 6 spiritual roots, foundation, supergrade Dao foundation, Kungfu, Qingyun Ju yellow rank lower grade, secret method, Qingshan, great success, erosion wave, entry level, genius points, 1700. Li Qingyun scratched his head. How should he spend 1,700 genius points? The battle scenes from the past few days appeared in Li Qingyun's mind. He found that Qingyun Ju, although it was only a lower grade yellow level technique, the secret technique Bluestone it brought and the understanding of the way of cultivation it brought to Li Qingyun during the deduction were both extraordinary. He even felt that if Bluestone could also reach the upper grade yellow level, its power could even be compared with Eclipse Wave, or even stronger, because his practice of the secret technique Bluestone had reached the great accomplishment realm, while he had just reached the entry realm in Eclipse Wave. Then let's upgrade the grade of Qingshan Ju system. Each upgrade of the yellow rank technique consumes 800 genius points. Do you want to continue? Li Qingyun, continue. Deducing. There are currently 970 loopholes in the Qingshan Ju. If 100 loopholes are fixed, the Qingshan Ju will be upgraded from a lower grade yellow rank technique to a higher grade yellow rank technique. Repairing. Li Qingyun's understanding of the Qingshan Ju quickly surged in his mind. Several people who had been practicing without knowing why in the past now had a new and clear understanding and understood many key cores of practice. Repair completed. Currently, the level of Qingshan Ju is upper grade yellow grade, and the secret method Qingshan has also been upgraded to upper grade yellow grade. The skill has become 3 levels, and the host's current mastery level is the first level of Deshang. Host qualifications, cultivation value, 480, foundation peak. Spiritual roots, 6 spiritual roots, foundation, supergrade Dao foundation, skill, Qingyun Ju upper grade yellow grade, secret method, upper grade yellow grade Qingshan, Deshang, upper grade yellow grade erosion wave, entry, genius points, 100. Li Qingyun sniffed. He was still thinking about how to use these 1,700 genius points. Now, in the blink of an eye, he has become a pauper again, but there is no way. After the trip to the Sea of Ghosts, Li Qingyun's original idea has become more determined. If you don't have strength, you may die one day. At that time, no matter how many genius points you have, it will be useless. It is better to practice well and enhance your own strength. The repair process took a lot of time, and an hour was almost over. Li Qingyun looked at the newly built 18-layer prison and thought, I didn't see this punishment, I don't know if this punishment is effective. Suddenly, the prison flashed, and 6 people were thrown out. The 5th elder fell to the ground dying, but strangely, there was no scar on his body. The 4 disciples were still in a coma. The prison didn't wake them up because they didn't know what effective value they had. The originally majestic Jingdan period great monk's 6th elder, now his eyes were full of fear, looking at Li Qingyun, and kept muttering, Master Li, let me go, I will say anything. Really? Li Qingyun asked doubtfully. The 6th elder was originally aggressive, but he walked around inside and turned into this? Is this prison so effective? Unexpectedly, after Li Qingyun asked this, the sixth elder became even more panicked. He shrank, lowered his head, and his body trembled slightly, but he did not dare to resist. He kept saying, really, 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 I will tell you everything, don't ask anymore. Before Li Qingyun asked again, the sixth elder said, the reason why Xuanhuan asked us to enter the Ghost Sea Forest is because he knew from the classics that there is the legendary Ghost Spirit Pearl in the Ghost Sea, and the Ghost Spirit Pearl contains the evil aura that does not exist in this world, which is a very good supplement for that thing. I don't know what that thing is, but Xuanhuan asked us to refine the 10,000 soul pill and find the Ghost Spirit Pearl for something. He planned to refine 81 10,000 soul pills. Shentubo and my two brothers were assigned to refine 9 10,000 soul pills. Li Qingyun asked, where are your 9? That the sixth elder said, my 9 have been refined a long time ago and have been handed over to Xuanhuan. Chuchuan, before I set out, except for Shentubo's 9 pills, the other 72 pills had all been refined and received by Xuanhuan. Also, the second elder is mainly responsible for dealing with the Xuanhuan sect in the South Palace, the third and fourth elders are dealing with the Xiaoyao sect in the North Palace, and the first elder seems to have been eyeing the strongest person in the Dihua sect recently, and has not left the sect for a long time. After saying this, the sixth elder raised his head and looked at Li Qingyun like begging, Masterly, I really only know this much, I really don't know anything else. Give me a quick death, don't torture me anymore. With a flash of light, the fifth elder and several others were taken into the prison again, placed in the closed room of the first-level disciples, and temporarily detained. Li Qingyun thought about it and left the prison. The Xuanhuan pill requires killing to refine, and the Ghost Spirit Pearl is related to ghosts and terrifying forbidden areas. Xuanhuan collected these with great fanfare and paid such a high price. What kind of temptation can make Xuanhuan so desperate?